But we've got to move on now, and on Wednesday the Republic of Ireland face Wales at Cardiff City Stadium. A final chance for Trapattoni to fine-tune his preparations for the upcoming World Cup qualifiers against Sweden and Austria in just a few weeks' time. Well, Tony O'Donoghue joins us now from the Welsh capital. This seems to be a fairly low-key, friendly international, Tony, but how beneficial are the management saying it's going to be for their preparation for those World Cup games?
Well, hi Peter. I think everyone thinks these games can be very important in getting the attitude right, getting the tactics right. Around here, the talk all day has been Gareth Bale. Of course, there was a journalist from Spain over at the Wales training session today, because of course he may be about to move from Tottenham Hotspur to Real Madrid. He trained today. He's not going to be involved in the game against Ireland, though. It's interesting that he would come down and join his teammates and join the squad. And Anthony Pilkington, for example, who has been called up yet again by Ireland and has yet to train with the senior squad and may indeed still be a part of Trapattoni's plans, but he's not here. However, this afternoon, James McCarthy and Paul Green sat out training. And it's interesting, James McCarthy might be the only non-Premiership player in the starting 11 that Trapattoni is likely to put out tomorrow. Obviously, there's talk linking McCarthy with a move as well. But it's a strong enough Irish team in prospect. Westwood in goal, of course. Coleman and O'Shea will play, and Clark is likely to play alongside O'Shea at centre half, of Wilson. On the right-hand side, will it be Walters? He's talking about playing a 4-4-1-1 with Wes Hoolahan in front, or just in that space ahead of Shane Long. So I think it's an interesting and an experimental lineup, if you like. Ireland have a lot of momentum going these days, I have to say. Obviously, the two games against Sweden and Austria are so important. But look, we're beaten against Spain, but apart from that, the only game that had points on board was the Faroe Islands game. And we did what we had to do there. Since then, the game against Georgia, the game against England. This team is taking shape, I feel, and a game against a Welsh side that, despite the absence of Bale and Ramsey and Collins, I think will still put up a decent performance in a decent challenge to Ireland.
Yeah, Tony, thanks very much for the moment. Damien, I mean, this game is coming so close to these big World Cup qualifiers. I would think that, looking at the squad, that Trapattoni is going to go with his strongest 11, and he's going to stick with them for as long as possible in this game now.
Of course he is, because if we had some of the aircom managers or the League of Ireland managers been interviewed there, and they've all got the finger on the pulse. They all know what the result means and what they're looking forward to. Trapattoni is the same. He wants to see September come quickly. He wants to be as ready as he can there. This is a stepping stone. More important than the game, I think, is the get-together of the players. They come together for training. Gives Trapattoni a chance to keep imposing his message, keep putting it over onto the players, making sure the concentration levels are right. At international football, it's that concentration level that's the most important. That's what Trapattoni will be working on. Yeah,
and of course, to get the players together this close to those internationals, Tony, it's always very important, isn't it?
Well, it's a new season, I think, to Damien's point, getting them back together after the break. I think it's a bit of a nothing game. I don't think he's going to learn a lot. I think he might throw a couple of players in and give them a bit of experience. Beyond that, I don't think it's really about having a look at formations and tactics and things like that. For me, it's just getting the players back together, getting the camaraderie going. To Tony's point in speaking there, it's the feel-good factor that existed prior to the summer, making sure that still exists now and that we have that going forward in September. Coming in cold in September without a friendly to two such important games is not ideal. So I think it's the right idea to get them together, but the result itself, you just want to make sure that we get something out of the game.
Yeah, and if we can go back to Tony just as we conclude this particular chat. Tony, just wondering if, obviously there are no further late defections, we would have heard about that, but fitness-wise, are there any concerns about those players who sat out training today?
McCarthy was involved in the Charity Shield at Wembley, and so he had a little knock, so that's the only reason there, but it's not enough to keep him out of the game. Interesting though, James McLean, he's taken a wage cut to move from Sunderland to Wigan and is getting a lot of praise for that. He trained like hell today, and even though he had played 65 minutes at Wembley yesterday, so he really wants to put it up to Trapattoni and say that he's in line to take that wing berth if Trapattoni will give it to him.
OK, Tony, we look forward to hearing Trapattoni's team when it is finally announced, and we look forward to hearing from Tony during our news bulletins in the build-up to that game, which takes place in Cardiff on Wednesday.